Hello, listeners. Hi, my name is Madhavi, and I'm so happy to have you on UppTalk. You have come to the right place if you want to learn about IT and do really cool things with your hands. We are not just another IT company when I say UppTalk. Think of us as your learning partner dedicated to helping you reach your full potential. We have top notch hands on courses to help you build your business, whether you are new to technology or want to move up in your current job. Let's look around this as our first step towards learning.
As per our today's agenda, we will try to cover two database topics which were pending yesterday, which is Keyed/Saver data pages and the asynchronous data pages. After that, we will start on the report definition. What exactly a report definition is, how the report definition record form looks, what kind of different tabs are there, what is the report query, what is the report viewer, how to configure charts, and how to use reports for the dashboards or for the internal data usage. This is a 2-day agenda. We can quickly jump onto the key page access. If you remember, yesterday we have covered in database references. These two things were there. Asynchronous. Anyway, it is not that in use. Pega won't use itself. This is for theory, but at least this is important. Guidance saver. If you talk about the definition only first for the keyed page access, that means till now. If you remember that when we are using a single page where we have the data sources, the lookup data type, broad watch list, then usage. Let's talk about this one. We have a parameter here. That means I have to pass customer ID every time to fetch that record. But suppose my requirement that I don't want to run this data page again and again. I want to run it only once. Here, the keyed page access will come into the picture, where we will pass one more key, or you can say one more property that will be used for the external access. Here we have a parameter here. If we have a parameter here, we will run the data page once and we will fetch everything. All the data. If we have 10 records, 1000 records, 1000 records, we will fetch everything at once. Then we will use one more extra property to load the data into a pageless property. We have 3 rows. Suppose I'm a 3. I need a 1. That means I have to pass a 1. Then it will give me that a 1 record. I want invalid token. Now suppose I want data with respect to the key and the fraud type. That means I want that a pageless property where only invalid doc information should come. A fake profile should not be there. How we can do it? Let's go to this list data page. Keyed page access will only work for the list pages. If you see, this is structure as of now. If I change it to list, one more checkbox is enabled. Access pages with the user-defined keys. That means it is not an actual primary key, but it will act as a primary key because we are building a page list. Let's code. Let me pick a list type of source, which already have, you see. Once you enable, suppose it is like this. Once you enable, it is how you allow multiple pages per key. You can add multiple keys if you have multiple properties. But right now we are only talking about the fraud type. I will already add fraud type. Now let's save this data. Now we need one more page list property. Let's go to case type. Or I will create something from this class. Data model property. Fraud detail. It needs to be of page list, where we have to pass the data class of this thing. Let me copy it from there. Under this Data Access tab, we have an option, Refer to a data page. This time we will select this, Refer to a data page. And let's select the data page name, the underscore, fraud watch list. Why only one data page is coming? Because we have passed this particular class here. And only list pages will be listed. That's why we have only one option. Now it is asking for the fraud type key. Why fraud type only? Because we have selected one external key here. If this key is deleted, that means only primary key will be applicable, which is customer. But now I added one more property, which will act as a user-defined key, which is a fraud type. So I will add, just for now, for reference, PILA. It is out of the works property, which we can use at any point of time. For the nodes, I will add it here and see. Now configuration is done. What it says is, whenever you use this property, fraud detail in your case, and once it is activated, it will go for this particular class. Open this data page and pass this parameter p, and whatever the result will come, it will store in the form of page list. Now configuration is done. We just need to execute it. We can execute it in the py default data transform. Let me jump on to this insured data model, data transform, and PA fault. Let's say, all right, P1. Suppose we need only invalid. Int basically, I'm setting this parameter value for this particular data page for user-defined keys. This is set now. Now I need to trigger that page list. What I'll do, I'll simply add it, and I'll do for each page, then property, pro detailed. And here I can pass anything. It really doesn't matter because I just want to execute property in any way. Now let's run it. Let's run it. This is a thing which is known as a tracer. Will also take one session for this particular thing. Trace, it is like whatever happening in the back end. When you make an interaction, whenever you click anywhere, what are the things getting called? What is the order of execution? What are the rules called? Those things you will see inside Tracer. You see, I simply clicked on run, and these many things were executed. Just a glimpse of it for now. Now I'll go to here. I'll go to clipboard. Because it out of case instance. We have to see in Tracer itself. Now you see under fraud detail, fraud D2. We have that means only invalid doc data is coming. Fake profile is ignored. I'll preview once again, like what exactly we are doing. Our requirement is instead of passing this parameter again and again, like I have to pass a 1 and then I'll get 2 records. 2 executions were there for the best performance. We have to limit these things, unnecessary calls. We have to reduce what we are doing. We have enabled keyed page access by selecting a list data page. Once keyed page access is enabled, I check this box and I select it, allow multiple pages per key. That means one is a primary key, second one is a user key here, which fraud type. After that, configuration is done in the data page. Now I need a property which will store the result, which will come from this particular data page. I created one page list here. That is fraud details, which is of this particular class, which refer to this data. Now, if you see this data page, we have added user key, which is fraud detail. Fraud type. Fraud type is coming as a parameter here. We are passing by node. This by node we are setting in by default data transform can be tested easily. Invalid doc is there. After that, we only need to trigger the property in any possible way. We are just simply doing for each page. Once this DIT will execute, this fifth step will execute and it will jump onto this data page and key will be passed automatically. Any doubt in this, Francis? No doubts. All right then. The main usage of this Keras, you don't have to reload the data. Load the data again and again. You can load it once and then you can simply use the attributes which you require to do that. Let's talk about the savable ones. Yesterday, we covered the theory part, but let's see how it will. When we create a data type, by default, Pega provides us 3 types of data pages. One is other one is single, and third one is a savable. Let's open the savable and let's check what the configuration is and what exactly is the defense. This thing is kind of same. Page is there, class is there, mode is savable now, through which we can identify it is a savable type of page. After that, scope is again thread. Thread means it will be executed at a case level and the number of cases will increase. The number of executions will increase. In the data source, we are simply passing the lookup. Lookers in the class name. It will be like select star from the table, where you are not passing anywhere clause. Everything will be retrieved, but with respect to a parameter with the customer ID. And now the query will be like select star from fraud watch list, where customer ID is equal to param customer ID. You are retrieving all the columns of this particular class where your customer ID key, which matches with your passing parameter. If you see, come down here. One thing is extra. If you compare with any other data page, like a list or a normal one, below the data source it, here you have post-load processing and query option. But in Savable, you have post-load option, then data save option. This thing is extra, which is only applicable for the Savable data pages. Let's say, what are the different kind of options? We have save type, database it. That means if you want to save the entry to the database, then you will use this one, database delete. If you want to delete the entry, then this one. We have connected. This means when you want to save the data to an external system, then we will use save type as connector. And only REST is configured. That means through several data pages, you can only REST in the external system. If it is, or any other supported API, then we have to use different method. To data pages, we can't achieve that. Then again, these are for the robotic automation. And this one is an activity because we have not covered this one. We'll ignore this. Currently, select database is saved. I'll give the class or I'll do a refresh. It will automatically pick it. Fraud force list is coming. I'll save it. The configuration is already there. Now what we have to do? So I'll come here. Let's say I'll add one more column. I'll add like comments. I'll add like, now I added one more property. I'll submit. Comment is there. So, array table field. And I want user to add it. Now we have to do some configuration in our section. Let's go to case type. Customer ID is our key here. Let's jump on to this part. Insurance detail. Let's see personal details. Configured now. We are already using this one. Customer ID is already there. First details. This one. Let's see what are the fields. Customer ID is there. Now we need to add this comment field that they can. Up. Let's go to configure view. Open section. I'll delete rest of the things which is not required for now. Insurance type. I'll delete this one. I'll delete. It is empty section now. If you see currently, we are under care, life care, work insurance. And our data type is under care life. What? These are different. That means if I want to refer this property, I need to pass this class again. I can go to structured. I select embed section. Embed section. We have an option which page context we want to select. If I select current page context, then class will be this because currently we are in the work class, but I need data class. I'll select here. I'll select data page here. Inside data page, let me first change this work class to data class. Data fraud watch list. Now in the data page, let's select save our data. What is customer ID now? It will be one set. Configure viewed. It will be fraud watch list. Customer, these two. Fraud watch list. Why it is not showing? Fraud list. Why we are passing this? Because once the case will be created and user will be in this personal detail form, they will fill the customer ID A1 only. At that time, we will capture it. And once they will come to this insurance detail, where we will add the comments, there we will use it as a parameter. This will hold A1. Let's say we want to create one more section. Let's name it Show Comments. Show Comments. I will click on this. Plus I textbook. It is added. Text in. I can click on this pencil icon to update the internal properties. We have to give this as comment. I will save it. Let's do a preview once. It will come like this. A comment field is there. I will go back. I will reselect this because I just now created show comments. I will submit this thing. This is added. The first one is extra. Let's delete this one and save the section rule again. This is done. If you see database, save configuration once. That means we are just setting the configuration. It is a database save, but we are not telling when to save, where to save. There are multiple ways by which we can trigger data for the saved data pages. First one is in the case type, we have Smart Shade. Let's see where it is. Save data page. What it will do? It will save the data page using the Save Page option. Either I can attach this particular shape here. I have to pass the data page name. That's it. Second option, I can go to the flow action. Let's say I will be here. Where is the section? This is insurance detail. Go to here. Process. Flow at we need for the insurance detail. In the insurance detail, if you go to the Actions tab, under Post Processing, you will find one option, Savable Data Pages. This is for the actual trigger. Till now, we are only doing the configuration. We are not triggering the data save. Let's add the database. We have option for the when condition, but it is not mandatory. If you want to conditionally save the, here I will pass the defraud watch list. Sub parameter is there. Same parameter will pass. Place. I need to copy it from there. This one. And this one I'll paste here. This is done. What it is saying is missing a valid subscript. Will not take like this. I am passing one just for testing that it will only pick the first value. Now let's try. The configuration and implementation for the Save All Data page is very lengthy. That is true. There are a lot of steps in between. But once we start creating this one, then it is not that widely used, but again, you will find like a couple of times how to create this one. Let's try. If this works properly, then it will save the data. Customer rate, I'll fill a one. This anyway is, I'll pass one more thing here. That's fine. Let's submit. Is it stuck or what? One thing, then I'll remove this altogether. Let's create one more insurance. Actually, we passed the incorrect page list because we have to pass this one. This is our customer data property. This is the wrong one. This is customer rate. This we have to pass. we have to change all the places then. First, here we need to change customer ID. If it will not take, then we have to conditionalize. These are kind of an advanced thing because save all data pages is little bit like lengthy in terms of implementation. Now here also we need to update this. Customer rate. Let's try it again. We got comments. Let's add something. And I'll submit now. I hope I have saved everything. Otherwise, this will not work. I'll save once again. It is failing. I think some issues still there. The flow action processing is failed. Now what error it says? Required parameter for save all missing. Some parameter value is missing. This particular parameter is not getting. Let's try if we can directly pass a 1. Tester said. Test of. This is the same. This time no error. Let's see if it will update it here properly or not. It is still not updating. That means something is there. But anyways, this I'll check. But for you, only you have to remember its steps. The first one is, for the save all data pages, we have to configure data save. This method. Then we have to trigger this because comments we have added new. In the section, somewhere we have to ask the user to add that comment. In our case, we are adding inside the insurance section. Now insurance section will be linked from the data class. That's why we are using a different section from this structure and embed section. Then we have to change the context to data page. Then we have to give the different class. Then fraud watch list. Then the save all data page. Then you have to create a different section. Here we have to pass the because we are randomly creating stuff in between. Definitely it will. No. This is kind of a configuration. Maybe you can try it once. Then you will be comfortable with this. Any doubt with respect to any point, configuration, or the loading part? Then with this, I think we will complete the data pages. This is, you can say, the deepest level of the data page execution. Now let's talk about the report definition. Report definition is very simple thing. It kind of works like a data page. The report definition we have to explore by of. Let's take example of fraud watch list only. This will be available under the reports category tab. It is same like we have a data model, we have a user interface. We have the report. Under that report, we have an option called report definition. And let's suppose this is a kind of a report which Pega created for us when we created the data type. It's a report. Before we jump onto these tabs and columns, I just wanted to give you a very short brief. That report definition works in a SQL generation manner. For example, how the SQL query looks like. First, we have a select keyword. Then we can give the columns. Or we can give the star to fetch all the column detail. Then we have to pass the table name. Then where clause. And then the filters. Right. Francis, you are aware of the SQL, right? Yes. Then we will be able to read it better. Same as query. We are generating through default definition, but without not passing the actual things. We are not passing like statements. Select star for table where customer id is equal to even. We are not passing like this. We are passing in a different way. For example, under the queries, we have a edit columns. Then these are the column source. Let's suppose these are two columns here. I will delete these. These are extra. Maybe these are out of the box. I won't be able to delete it. But anyways, let's say customer ID and fraud type. Let's assume these are not there. Now how the query will look like. Select customer ID and fraud type from this table. Where is empty? There is no where clause. Edit filter is where clause. Edit columns is select clause. It will be like select star or select customer ID and fraud type from this particular table. That's it. If I run this one, I will go to action and run. Let's see what it will fetch for us. It will fetch 3 records because we are not passing any where clause A1, A2, 3 and all these things are coming. Let's go to report again. Now let's say I add some customer ID clause. Volume sources. Customer ID is equal to a 1. I will say it. And I will rerun. Now it is filtered by customer ID 1. Only one row is coming. The query will look like select host, select customer ID and fraud type from this class, where customer ID is equal to a 1. But suppose after a 1 I need a free also. Again, there are multiple ways to pass. Suppose I will add condition like this. I will add one more. Copy this thing. Pass. is equal to. Now it is the AND clause. Both needs to be true. Let's see how in AND or it will work. No item is there because it is the AND clause. Both needs to be true, which is not possible. For one row, only one will be true. If I make it or then only one row will come. You are aware of this and a no clause. You see, both are true now. Both are coming. And suppose if I remove this thing and I remove this also, and I want to filter the data with respect to fraud type, I will add condition here. Fraud type as in valid doc. Now let's start once. Invalid that invalid doc. We have two lines here. All these things are coming from the data type. If you see a bit difference between data page and report, definition is data page. You can hold the data as a temporary page. But report definition give you in the real time. It won't hold it. It will run, get the result and post it for you. That's it. Then it is emptied. And you can't reuse the same data again and again. That's why in that list source yesterday, when I showed you, there was a report definition configured. Why report definition is when the data page is called. It will pass those values here in the filters. It will get the data and post it to the data page. Because report definition can't hold it. It will pass the data to the data page and data page will keep it within the temporary page. Whatever we are accessing from the data page, not the report definition. Makes sense? Yes, it does. Now edit columns. You can add the columns. Suppose if this is class, inside this class you can add n number of columns. And if you want to add more, you can come down to here and then you can give the property. Anything you can give. But it is already too much. I'm not giving anything. Now sometime let's say one more example. Let me open this data type. If you see, we have customer ID and fraud type, but fraud type is duplicate. Suppose I'll remove the customer ID from here. Now we have only fraud type. Now let's run it once. Only fraud type is coming but 2 rows. But suppose in the business scenario, you have to remove the duplicates. If we don't have this option, we have to run data transform an activity to manually check individual value. And if it is same, delete it. If it is same, delete it, which is a very lengthy process. Report definition, we have only single checkbox. Remove duplicate rows. You can select it. Why it is not refreshing? One said, let me delete these comments also. Might create a show. Let me delete this if it is there. It is still picking it. This is weird. I can delete things also. Now it is deleting. If you see here, we have deleted from here itself. Rush. I'll add one more. That is the primary report. If you see, when we create data type, one report definition created, that is a primary report. Whatever we are changing is a primary report. It will affect the rule configuration. If I add column here, it will be added inside this one, inside the table. That is the link. Because we deleted the customer ID, it is giving us this error. Let's add that again. Customer ID. If I refresh here, now this will work. Let's create a different report then. Rather than messing with this one, save. I'll give like fraud watchlist test report. In this report, we can do anything. I can delete customer ID here. Now we have 3 records to invalid doc and 1 fake profile. If duplicate is not removed, we have 3 rows. But if duplicate is removed, we have 2 rows because invalid doc was removed. This is how it will work. Filter we already checked. Then let's add customer ID once. Then we have this summarize column. Suppose I summarize the count. Let's summarize the count of customer ID. As it says blank. Now you see how it will come. It will summarize it with respect to the count. 2. We have 3 customer IDs. If you see, for customer ID, we are giving the count here. It will giving us a customer ID count here. Total we have 3. Fake profile, we have 1. And invalid doc, we have 2. Suppose if I will give count here also, let's see how it will behave. Only 1 is coming because we are just counting. Total 3 fraud type and 3 customer IDs are there. This is how we have to play with this report definition to achieve the requirement. And report definition can be used for the front end as well as the back end to filter the data and save it to data page, or to directly show into one screen. Or we can directly show this particular report to a manager or a director or any concerned person as a dead dashboard report. For example, if I click on this launch portal, I have to add one testing portal. Let's see. There is one manager portal that Pega used to provide as Pega Case Manager. Let's see if I can switch this one. Case Manager is there now. I will open the Case Manager portal. This is how a manager portal will work. If you see, this is a kind of a report only. Right. This is the urgency. This is the due date. How many IDs are there? The personal detail, insurance, and who was the owner for that particular thing. If you want to add any specific report for the manager, we can do it through the report definition easily. For example, if I go to that report definition, I will go to the report viewer chart now. This is completed. It just you can configure column source, you can apply filters, you can remove duplicates, and you can give the summarize and the sorting and the sort order also. And with this gear icon, you have some 2 or 3 more options to have the more content. For example, if you want to change the column width, if you want to hide the column, then you can do this way through this gear icon. Now inside the report viewer, we have a report title. For example, let's add the space. This is a report title. Do not scroll header. If you remember, even if you've seen this one, then we have too many records. Let's say 1,000 records. In some scenarios, the scroll, like the header, is also scrolls. Suppose if you have 50, if you scroll down, they will also scroll along with the data. If you want to fix the header, then we can use this thing. Then we have custom filter option. Filters in. When we are running this report, right now filter is disabled. I need to remove that. Sort. If I click on these 3 dots, we have these filters. If you want to add custom filters here, directly from a section or from the data class, we can use this particular option. Display filter using custom section. But it is not that frequently used. Rarely you will see people are using. If you want to group the results, then we have this option, grouping result. Let's say 1 by 1 is there. Let's save it. Now it is grouping with respect to the fraud type. Under fake profile, we have 1. Under invalid doc, we have 2 customer IDs. Same count is coming. We just grouping that results. All these things are required for the business purpose only because we have two customer IDs. Suppose if I am a stakeholder, I really don't bother about how many cases is created today. If I am getting an extensive report with everything, how many cases got created, who is working on, how many items are pending, how many pay profiles were there, how many invalid talk profiles were there. For that's why only we have this extensive options. In the user actions, display in report browser, manager portal, or the user portal have these options. This protocol is not configured here. I don't know why it is coming like this. Let me try in the user portal. Let's click on this care icon. You see, we have this report widget. If I can add more things also. I can click on add widget. Then what I need? Case lifecycle, case stat, case entered, recent, team member. Let's see. If we have any reports, we have a report widget. Let's select this one. And as selected, it usually takes time. Please select a report. It is showing category here. You see, we have these categories. Adaptive decisioning, analyze performance, analytic, case metrics, open cases. These are the categories. And if I go back to Test Studio, and suppose if I enable this option, display in report browser. Now it is asking for which category I want to show this thing, this particular report. Suppose I want to show in analyze quality, and I will save this. Let's see. I have to cancel this. I have to reopen this. That data is refreshed. Analyze quality. Select a report. Fraud watch list is added now. This. The developers used to create these reports in the backend, and they can inform that the report is created. Then the stakeholders directly go to their dashboard, and they can simply configure it. And I will save. They can see the dashboard like this if I publish. Then my dashboard is created. If there is any change in the data type, if any new fraud type is added, any new customer is added, it will directly reflect in this portal. We have display report filters. If I uncheck this thing, filters will be gone and I won't be able to filter the data. If I disable filter changes, then even though I will select the filters, data will not refresh. This one, enable filter changes. This you can ignore. This one, enable filter changes, enable action. If I go to option, if you see, we have editing commands and the export command. Right now, Pega is providing us export to export. The editing command You can edit your report. You can show in the list form. You can summarize it. And you can also save as. Let's run it once again. If you see, we have this option, Edit Report. And in the actions, I can refresh. I can save as. I can export to Perf. I can export to Excel. I don't have to write any custom code to do this thing. It is downloaded. Let me show you how it will look. Sounds good? Mid in few sessions. Let's say per session 3 or 4. We will cover. After that, we discuss some advanced topic. Is that right? That's good. Those advanced topic will be from the CSA. Currently, it is that Certified System Architect. No advanced topic will be from the CSA, that is Certified Senior System Architect. After that, we have one more level, that is a final level, that is a Lead System Architect. If someone has more than 10 to 15 years of experience being a lead system architect, then they will become a principal system architect. This is the hierarchy of the architects. And please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@therightuptalk.com.